It's about damn time. So Idea Factory got together with Compile Heart one day and thought, hey, let's make an idol simulator. No, not that one. Not that one. Anything but that one. And I am not reviewing this on the channel. No, the idol simulator I'm talking about is the subject of today's episode, which is Omega Quintet, which you actually do more than just watch girls dance and, more importantly, visual novel. No, there's actually RPG elements to it. And needless to say, I was interested because after all, Idea Factory do have some good games outside of the Hyperdimension Neptunia games, and also they have some good ideas like Fairy Fencer F. So I decided, hey, why don't I give it a try? And after playing the game twice, actually 3 times because I got stuck on the quest, you'll know more about that later, I thought that I would go on ahead and share all of my experiences with this game. Needless to say, I have a lot to say, breaking down the pros and also the cons of quite possibly a good idea on paper, but the execution is left to be desired. That's just being nice. There are some things that Idea Factory Compile Heart does that kinda irks my nerves. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to dance for my review of Omega Quintet. Let's go, everybody! Of course, we can't talk about an Idea Factory game without talking about DLC. They have way too many of it, and in this game, it is definitely egregious. Not only do they have multitudes of armor and multitudes of limit breaks and multitudes of everything else, but unfortunately the DLC will be needed in order for you to beat the game. Do you want to know why? The quest! Look at all these quests. They all have a time limit. And they all have random locations, or some of them don't at all. And missing those means you're gonna miss out on certain events. But not just that, you'll be spending most of your time grinding in order to appease these quests. Whether you're grinding in order to show off a move, grinding in order to get support, grinding in order for you to get the EP to make sure that your first maiden doesn't run out in her damn underwear, or more importantly, grinding in order for you to get a weapon good enough to survive. You're going to be grinding in order for you to get the true ending of the game, and it can be monotonous. Can I point out something important? Look at the EP and look at the support. This is what you need in order for you to complete the quest. Here's the problem. You need to spin EP in order to keep your verse maidens from running around in their underwear. Meanwhile, the support only lasts if you A, complete quest, or B, not let your verse maidens get killed. Again, grinding is a pain in the ass. And so are these quests. Another pet peeve I have is partly the story. Mainly the fact that they blew their load early in Chapter 3, revealing Arya being a Blair. It was no big secret after Chapter 3. The thing of the matter is, it was supposed to be built up as a mystery for the rest of the game, but unfortunately, again, they blew their load in Chapter 3. Everybody could put 2 and 2 together, not only with Arya's fate, but also with Tact as well, because Tact himself was infected and became a Blair. While some people have attitude changes, there's one victim in particular that doesn't. And that's as far as I go, but needless to say, the main point is Arya being a Blair is definitely a big ball drop. You want to know what else you want to know about that? If you didn't level her up to her max affection. And guess how you do that? Grinding! Oh boy. See, it all comes back to grinding the quest and the DLC. Needless to say, it is the biggest bane of this game, if not the entirety of the series, but mostly this game. But we aren't even done yet with the cons. Lastly is the abilities. While the abilities themselves aren't bad, how they're structured is. Each Verse Maiden has an ability to help them traverse or find items throughout the entirety of the game. Not only are these abilities needed in order for you to get through like certain chapters, but also certain quests. Here's the problem. Levels for those abilities are also tied to, you guessed it, grinding and side quests. Primarily grinding in the training room, which is the only way for you to unlock those items and abilities. So with that said, the main point is DLC, grinding, and timed quest are a pain in the ass, and they are the main thing that really hurt any enjoyment in this game. And for that, we can now go to the pros. Well, if there is some positives, it is basically going to be the music, because it's actually pretty catchy, not to mention the battle animations, because let's face it, they actually did more with the battle animations here than what they did with Hyperdimension Neptunia. I'm going to admit that. And this right here is probably one of my favorite animations in the game, because it's literally freaking hilarious to see Momoka stomping the enemy to the ground. And it's not just the battle animations, the battle system itself. The more you grind up your tree, the more you'll be able to pull off harmonics where you could have like compatible skills, as well as being able to utilize elements, and more importantly, being able to utilize your group to where you can pretty much fell enemies in one fell swoop. All to the theme of the catchy theme music, not to mention you will be able to probably kill the most powerful enemies once your harmonics is completely maxed out. Moreover, you could actually take the time to even heal in order to make sure you'll be able to pull off some moves. However, you can't just do this alone. There's one other aspect of this battle that's actually pretty cool, because Idea Factory, with the exception of Fairy Fencer, only had female fighters in their games. Well, if you don't count Umio. And that is adding tact into the battle system so that you'll have extra attacks and be able to pull off some sick moves. But of course, what wouldn't there be an Idea Factory game without fan service? It's 2015 before ESG came along and ruined everything, and fan service was galore. This game has a lot of it. This is just an example of what I could show, because YouTube has become Puritans. And needless to say, the fan service here do not disappoint. Yes, you even have girls running around in string bikinis. That is something you can actually buy with EP. And moreover, you can actually do that and many other things by having them dance in PVs. Whether it be 3 Verse Maidens, 4, 5, 2, it doesn't matter. The point of the matter is, the PVs are actually a joy to look at. However, when they're forced upon you as quests, yeah, that enjoyment goes down south, but at the exact same time, if you're not doing them as quests and you just want to show them off to the audience, by all means, you could do that, and you could actually record that and upload them to YouTube. I mean, you can still do that now, but Steam, you could actually just record them from the screen and just upload them to YouTube. it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, while the grinding, the quest, and more importantly, the DLC bogs this game down, it's even worse in the Steam. They literally have the goddamn gallery behind the paywall. Everything else about the game is actually enjoyable. I mean, I didn't mention the voice acting because it's hit or miss. But other than that, everything else is rather enjoyable, and I did like it despite the cons. So, with that said, it's time now for the rating. And with the pros and cons compiled, it is now time to give the rating for this game. Omega Quintet will get the rating of meh. And the only reason why it gets that is because of three things: DLC, timed quest, and grinding. The grinding can be monotonous. The timed quest is punishing enough, especially while you're trying to do grinding. You may inadvertently expire a quest, which will lock you out of the story. And then the DLC is even worse because it'll compensate for the fact that some of the quests have high EP and high support ratings, and the DLC will make sure you have infinite of that, which is scummy in and of itself. So basically speaking, while it had good things about it, the three things that kill this game is DLC, time quest, and grinding. It's still a fun game if you look past that. But folks, I'm done with this review. Thank you for watching.